Okay, I'm gonna jump in. I am Kara Stoller. I'm the CEO of the Steamboat Springs Chamber and really appreciate those of you joining us today for our December Steamboat Ready webinar. For those of you who haven't joined us, Steamboat Ready was created a few months ago in the fall, and it was through a lot of conversations that we were having with our industry work groups and the desire to connect more. We have, again, those industry work groups that have been set up. And so those groups were talking a lot, but not enough industry discussions and updates at a higher level from different industries. So we created Steamboat Ready for that component, and also to communicate to our community as a whole and our guests about everything that Steamboat has been working on to keep the community safe and keep everybody as up to date as possible. So with that, today we have a number of updates from different government entities as well as industry sectors. And then we're going to have a little bit more time with our air program and an update on ground transportation. This is a big week for our air program. Saturday, a number of our major flights schedules start. So anxious to hear updates on that front. So I'm going to start out with our city manager, Gary Suter, to provide an update on behalf of the city. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Kara. Yes, it's always good to sit in on these and kind of hear from everybody. Very helpful. So I got 5 minutes. I'll check the time here, 10:04, try and wrap up by 10:09. You know, I just want to start off really quickly. We continue to get emails, councils continuing to get emails saying, why doesn't the city do something? Why don't you open up the town? And I just want to clarify, and I can't get the message out there enough, that we're not the public health agency. And you know, it's all mandated by the state of Colorado, the Colorado Public Health Department, CDPHE, and then also our Board of County Commissioners, which also sits at the Board of Health. We have the ability to do things that are more restrictive than the state, but we don't have the ability or the legal authority to just open things up, summarily open things up. And I just wanted to clarify that to folks and make sure that that was understood. A lot of people think that the city could just pass a law and say, oh, we're open now, but we can't. So the best thing we can do is support the Board of Health. And that's what we've heard from every professional. So the things we can do, which would be more restrictive, would be like face covering mandates. A lot of cities have done that. Council never really showed any interest in that, so we have not done that. But those are the things that we could do, is implement face covering mandates. That's kind of the limit of our authority. Otherwise, we can't override state law. That would jeopardize the millions of dollars of grants that we get. So let me get on to the things here. The first, some of the stuff that we have done where we have the legal authority to do is modify our open container laws. So with state enabling legislation, council has passed ordinances. I think we had a couple more on Tuesday night to allow open containers in the downtown area and also in the base area at the mountain and also the Wild Horse area. We even had a modification, I think, on Tuesday night to open up the open container in Old Town Square, where Skull Creek and Noodles and number of other restaurants and Barley are all located. So that was pretty cool to see. So we can do that sort of thing, and the council has been receptive in that sense. We've also, the planning department has continued to work with the businesses for outdoor seating. So using public rights of way, sidewalks, streets, parking lots, wherever we can to help accommodate outdoor seating. So we've passed ordinances along those lines. Those are things that we can do. We have allocated $140,000 in business relief to the county. So per direction from the state, if we have CARES funding, which we did get an allocation of around $700,000+, we had $140,000 unspent of that. We've rolled that over to the county, put it into their program. And Kara and your administrative team, your allocation team, I just keep hearing great things about how efficient and how good you guys were at making those decisions and literally standing up a grant program and doling out that money in a matter of weeks, pretty much unheard of. So good job on that. If we have other leftover money, more than likely we'll just roll it back over there, but we have to have it allocated and checks cut by December 30th. So that's a big deal. I think the county has over $900,000, Kara, in that effort. We have also spent a good chunk of money for personal protective equipment. Main Street is doling that out. So if you need that, if businesses need that, you can contact Lisa Popovich at Main Street. We are the fiscal agent for the SOS program. And so all of those donations that are going through the Community Foundation are being redistributed to the city and checks cut from the city. So we're the fiscal agent for the SOS program, trying to support that way. We continue to write grants to the state and federal governments. And that's why, like I said, it's just not really a very good idea if we decide to go up against the state and just say, hey, to heck with you guys, we're gonna not listen to you. It jeopardizes literally millions of dollars worth of grants. That we have a really crack grant team, and those grants continue to come in, not only for CARES relief, but things like our mass transportation system, which is critical for the operation of this resort community, especially in the wintertime. Last but not least, the 5-star program. I got 1 minute left. We have been responsive, and this morning I just made a call to arms to the entire organization, saying if we can get restaurant inspectors to staff up this restaurant inspection program to try and get our restaurants to operate at 25% capacity at orange level under a state program that's being rolled out today. So talk about responsiveness. We're really jumping on this and doing everything we can to help with that effort, to help the county, to help the chamber, to help the businesses, to help the lodging community, to help the restaurants have a safe and hopefully productive holiday season and entire winter. So 10:09, my time's up. We can take questions at the end, Kara. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate that. Next up, we have Scott Kalman with Routt County. He is the Director of Environmental Health. Scott, thanks for being here with us.
You bet. Thanks, Kara. So I'm standing in for Roberta Smith, who is our Public Health Director, and am tasked with kind of going through where things stand with public health. And so I'm just going to be reading directly off of our website that shows all of our metrics. And this website, there's a link to it on our main county site. So anybody from the public can go in and take a look at this stuff, and I look at it often. And we also go through this information on a weekly Board of Health call. And so lots of different opportunities to look at this and then be able to comment on it on the Board of Health meetings, weekly Board of Health meetings. So Kara, should I share the screen or should I just go through these numbers?
You can share the screen. I think that would be good. Yeah.
I'll do that really quick. Okay, I assume everyone can see that. All right. So as everyone probably knows, we are in the red level for the state dial. And our current number of cases for the last 2 weeks is 212%. Test positivity, 6.74. It looks like that's dropped. Our case count has also dropped a little bit. New hospitalizations, just one. Daily average test completed, 205.5. It looks like all of those metrics have dropped in the last 2 weeks. I'll just move down here. We have 99 cases in the most recent week, 212 for 2 weeks. Cases per 100,000, 826. You can see total tests administered, 2877. Keep going down. You can see that we have sort of plateaued, and it's really hard to say with the information that we have where that's going to go. I think that it's reasonable to assume that we're going to have a little bit of a spike after Thanksgiving, but we've also been in that red level, so you would assume things would drop because of being in that level. And so maybe that kind of explains our plateau. and hopefully we continue to see cases drop once we kind of move through effects from Thanksgiving. So, just continuing on from what I was saying, we're starting to see things plateau a little bit, and you can see this 212 was from November 30th to December 13th. And so, like I said before, hopefully we continue to see things drop. And that's one of the criteria for the 5-star program that Gary brought up, the incidents. And according to the report card that we got from the state yesterday, we've had 3 days of the last 14 in sustained decline. And so in order to qualify for that 5-star program, we need to have at least 14 days of sustained decline. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. The good news is that our percent positivity is below the threshold that we need to be at, and our hospital capacity is below. So we just need to get those cases to go down and remind everybody that it's up to us, and we're all in this together. And if we can, wear masks and keep the social gatherings down and maintain distancing, that we can continue to get these case counts down and make it easier to get restaurants and other businesses back open. That's all I got.
Great, thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Appreciate the update. Next, we're going to move over to Kathy Elliott with Christie Sports for a retail industry update. Kathy?
Good morning, everyone. There's excitement in the air with the mountain opening on December 1st. Our guests coming back to Steamboat. They're excited to be out on the mountains, and they're spending money. So the traffic that's here, it's been quieter numbers, I'm sure, than past years. But those guests that are here, they're shopping and they're buying. And we're very excited about that. The thing that I think that the retailers really want to get out to our local community and our visitors is it's never been safer to shop. All of the greatest safety protocols that could ever imagine are in place now. They have been in place since we reopened in early May, and it's safe. Come out and shop. The weekend traffic with the visitors is a lot more crowded, but if our locals feel more comfortable coming during the weekdays, it's a little bit quieter. If there's some guests that are a little bit nervous, call the stores, talk to the owners, talk to the managers, express what they're looking for. Maybe they want to set up a private time that they can come in and spend 10 minutes by themselves, shopping, being able to buy those last minute Christmas presents, or they can call and say, hey, I'm looking for this item. Is it available? Yes. We'll run it right out to your car. We've got contactless points of payments, online options are available. So it's never been easier to shop or safer. We're ready. We're excited. This weekend, the traffic is going to pick up, and we're ready for these people. So we're thankful for the continued support of our locals and our early visitors. We're excited for those that are coming through the Christmas holidays. We want to ensure that these guests, when they're in town, are having a great positive experience, and that they know Steamboat went out of their way to, in a very timing, I can't even speak, but we're excited and we're ready and we're thankful. Please keep in mind employees downtown, as we want to make sure that now that these visitors are coming in force, is that we want them to be able to come and pull right in front to have easy access to shopping and restaurants. So remind the employees to park a little bit further away so that those guests can come in. But we appreciate the efforts of the chamber, the city, the mountain, and the county for getting us to this point, and we're excited for a very successful ski season. So thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Really appreciate that. And yes, we're all beating the shop local drum. That means so much. It's the connection with the community. It's also the support of businesses, and it's keeping our friends and family employed. So please, please, please shop local. And with that, also eat local. Eat out, and I'm going to have Mark Stanford with Carl's and Truffle Pig speak on behalf of the restaurant industry. Mark?
Hello, everybody. I am Mark Stanford. I'm with Truffle Pig and Carl's Tavern here in Steamboat. I'm also a board member of the Colorado Restaurant Association Steamboat chapter here. We have been working closely with Kara Stoller in the Chamber, City Planning Commission, City Council, County Commissioners, CDPHE, the County Board of Health to try and find a course for us through all of this. I am representing restaurants, so I'm representing a vast array of emotions and personalities right now. We're still here, which is great, and we hope to remain here. Supporting local is key. It's been talked about a lot on this. Eat local, especially with tourism hitting its peak here over the holidays. If the grocery stores start to look a little picked over, to keep in mind that restaurants are just around the corner. We'll cook it for you. We'll prep it for you. You just got to come pick it up. Some of us will even deliver it to you. As the flights start pouring in, the resort now open, we're anxious to get open. We're anxious to open our doors to guests. Unfortunately, there's some realistic obstacles in the way. And there's a little light at the end of the tunnel for us. The 5-star program, which was pioneered out in Mesa County, which has been making headlines recently, has just been allowed in a sense. Counties are now allowed to start down the path of potentially having that 5-star program implemented. It's a long process, it's very drawn out, and it's going to take a lot of community support, and it's all going to happen very fast. So with restaurants, especially at the base here with Truffle Pig, for instance, we're going to be opening our patio for dine-in. So you can sit on the patio, socially distanced, of course, from 12 to 4, and they'll be doing takeout for dinner and delivery, and a lot of restaurants will be doing the same, the best of their ability. Obviously, the cold weather limits our scope of service. If this 5-star program passes, it'll allow us to open at 25% capacity, we hope, with 10-foot distancing between all of our tables. It allows us to bring back more staff. It allows us to make more revenue. And something for perspective for the general public to understand and for business owners to understand is that over the holidays, a lot of these restaurants, a lot of us are going to do $15,000 to $30,000 a day. So every day that we are closed, whether it be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, or a Saturday, is a significant amount of money. And our last 4 weeks of Q4 and our first week or two of Q1 is a significant part of our revenue. So we're scrambling to make this happen right now. There is a committee being put together right now that will have members of the general public, business owners, people that aren't involved in restaurants come out and serve as certifiers. For the 5-star program, it would allow them to come out and certify that restaurants are meeting all the criteria for the 5-star program. If we pass that, then we could potentially be open this week, but we don't know. We don't actually have a realistic time frame on it. We're hoping that's the case. Beyond that, Gary Suter, who has been a great supporter of restaurants through all of this, we mentioned the base area consumption bill, and that is something that was coined by a handful of us here at the base area to expand the scope of our service through limited capacity, being that 0% or 25% even isn't really viable for many of the restaurants here at the base area. When you have a capacity of 213 people and you need to see 213 people in this restaurant 5 times a day, there's just no way that you can serve that many people under these restrictions. So this is a lifeline for us. It was unanimously passed by City Council, again, who have been great supporters of restaurants through this. And there's been a lot of frustration from the general public, a lot of frustration from business owners, a lot of frustration from employees on the county level. And the one thing I want to say is the county is working very closely with restaurants. But much like Gary Suter and Scott Kalman mentioned, the state is controlling a handful of what's happening right now. So we're at the mercy of what's coming down from the state level. So we're going to work as hard as we can to make things happen here in Routt County. But again, realistic boundaries are set before us right now. The biggest thing we ask of everyone, continue to support local, continue to keep an eye on our employees. If you know someone in the restaurant industry that's struggling, you can feel free to reach out to me directly. You can reach out to any member of the restaurant community and ask what you can do for their employees right now. But mask up, let's make it through this together. Let's follow the state mandates. Let's make sure we all come out on the other side of this. There's no martyrs in this right now for the restaurants. It's great that people have opinions on things, and it's great that people want us to open, but unfortunately there is a pretty defined legal route we have to take in order to reopen, and no pressure to the county and no pressure to the state is great enough that they're going to surpass the current public health orders in place and circumvent what's best for the safety of our general public. And there was one quick question that popped up on the side, and that's a great thing to touch on. And restaurants are going to be doing a lot of specials over the holidays. They're going to do family style specials, large to-go specials, delivery specials. Please take advantage of these. Come out, support us. We can stay afloat with just enough to go business, which again, hopefully that'll all be changing here soon. So yeah, let's keep staying the course. Stop our spread, save our season. It's a great initiative started by Robin Cregan. We're all taking it to heart right now, just rethinking the way we socialize, rethinking the way we hit the mountain. But just stay safe, be there to support us on the other side of this.
Thanks, Mark. Mark's being modest with the discussion about the public consumption. He definitely led that charge. Rob Spence at the ski resort helped as well. So again, in the base area as well as in Wild Horse Plaza, the council approved allowing public consumption. So someone could go up to a restaurant and purchase an individual cocktail, not a pitcher of something, but an individual drink, and then enjoy it in certain designated areas throughout the base area. And it will certainly help our restaurants with that added sale, but also we hope that it will keep some of our guests happy while they're waiting for their to-go food. So thanks everybody for that effort, and Mark for your overview. With that, I'm going to kick it over to Dave Hunter with the ski resort. Dave?
Thanks, Kara. Good morning, everyone. Here's our brief update from the ski area perspective. Until late last week, we experienced pretty strong inversion, colder in the base and much warmer at the top. Thankfully, we saw a big shift in the jet stream over the weekend, and the last several days have just been excellent snowmaking conditions, and we continue to take advantage of that whenever Mother Nature, gives us that opportunity. And thankfully to those recent storms we've had, it allowed us to open up to 11 new trails and double our skiable acreage in the last week to over 320 acres. We're pushing hard right now to open more terrain as well as adding additional lift service by this weekend. So stay tuned for an announcement on additional terrain. In addition, this week on Friday, we're opening up our uphill access. So community members can go to steamboat.com/uphill for more information on how to get registered, sign your release, pay your $20 armband fee, and keep in mind that 50% of those proceeds are going to be donated to Routt County Search and Rescue. Excited to see more terrain coming our way. This will really allow us to spread skiers and riders out more effectively and efficiently across the mountain. We really appreciate the community's support in following our COVID-19 protocols and policies. It's so important. That's really where the shared responsibility comes in, and it's been outstanding, and we hope that we can continue to operate at that level. As we say often, we're all in this boat together, and together we can make sure that we've got a great season. So be sure to check out the Trail Forward website for the most updated information as to how we're operating this winter, as well as on our app for mobile ordering opportunities and payment for grab-and-go food. So thanks, Kara.
Great, thanks, Dave. Appreciate you being here. And I'm going to jump in for a chamber update. So a couple of mine I think all of my updates have already been touched on in one way or another. And I, as I was hearing other people share their updates, I was thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about that. But I think it's just such a great testament to how much we are all working together. Not a day goes by that I'm not in touch with the city team, the county team, the restaurants, where we're all working in tandem as much as we possibly can. I know that there's, this is a reason we're having Steamboat ready to keep everyone informed, and certainly we can always, there's a lot of work that's going on, and try to keep everyone as updated as possible without inundating with the minutia. But with that, just a few updates. The Steamboat Springs Chamber was the facilitating entity for allocating the business relief grants. So the county, and as Gary mentioned, the city, were able to secure and or earmark, secure additional and earmark CARES Act dollars that they had already received. And they put that into a business relief grant fund. Some of about 20% of the total fund went to nonprofits, and the Yampa Valley Community Foundation is facilitating the allocation of those dollars. And again, the chamber was responsible for the allocation of the for-profit business relief grants. Just yesterday, this all has happened very quickly for two reasons. We wanted to make sure that the money was in businesses' hands as soon as possible. And then also because of some of the requirements with use of the CARES Act dollars. So it was a very, very quick turnaround, but we set up a allocation committee and they devoted a tremendous amount of time to reviewing over 200 applications and had a very, very challenging job doing that. I think we all know the need that's out there, but you know, it's very much, when you see it all pulled together like that, it's really challenging. But they did allocate the full $773,000 to businesses within Routt County. And again, those allocations will be made within the coming weeks. The 5-star program has been touched on a little bit, but just in case there are some that aren't on that, the 5-star program is an avenue in which businesses can operate at a level less restrictive than the current county status. So we're working to, there's many people that are working on it, but we're working to stand up the Routt County 5-star program. We do need that to be approved by the state. And again, one of the elements is 2 weeks of declining case counts, as Scott Kalman had mentioned. So working on that and seeing how we can move things forward as quickly as possible, but we are trying to stand up the program, and businesses would submit an application. Then we have set up an administrative committee. They will review the application. Then there would be a site visit and then approval. Happy to know, not happy that businesses have to jump through yet another hoop, but I am happy that the requirements of to be approved as a 5-star certified business are not significantly more than what has already been in place. So that's a really good thing. We'll keep everybody posted as much as we can, as soon as we can. There is a focus on restaurants and getting them to be at a 25% occupancy as soon as possible. The 5-star program is one avenue. The county commissioners have also joined with other county commissioners in the state, mainly in the mountain region, mountain resort region, to request that Governor Polis allow our county to operate in the orange as soon as possible. So there's, as I think Mark mentioned and alluded to, frustrations among our counties and our businesses and the county commissioners, and because of our case counts compared to and metrics overall compared to other counties near us that are operating in less restrictive levels. So there's 2 avenues that we're working on in tandem with the county and city and others to seek at least 25% indoor occupancy for restaurants. We'll keep everyone posted on that. Also pushing on federal level for additional funding. Anxious to hear how this week wraps up, but the messages that I've heard are that we can be somewhat optimistic. So again, that is a huge piece of this puzzle to getting businesses through. With that, I am going to hand it over to Robin Cragen to provide a lodging update. Robin Cragen serves as the chair of the Lodging Association and also manages and owns and operates Moving Mountains. Robin?
Thank you, Cara, and thanks everybody for the opportunity to give you an update on the lodging industry. As Kathy mentioned, I think it's super exciting that the mountain is open and we're heading into the holiday season. We're inside of the 12 days to Christmas, and if we start focusing on some good news here is that, you know, the snow has arrived, and the snow has arrived in Steamboat style. We're getting great feedback from people locals mostly, that have been able to get out there and enjoy the conditions, and also some great feedback in terms of how the mountain is handling that. And that is really helping our reservations team. I'm speaking really for Moving Mountains here, but it's really helping our reservations team to communicate to people that the experience is as good as it ever was. And that has been very much what we've been trying to focus on, is that many people want to come here, and the lodging industry has worked extremely hard since the spring to adapt to new circumstances, to develop new protocols to make lodging safer, cleaner, more secure, than ever before. I think it could be said very much that we parallel the efforts of the airline industry, and there's never been a safer, cleaner time to fly. And I feel like it is very much the same message that we're able to put out there, having had a successful summer, is that lodging has never been better positioned to deal with the challenges of the pandemic and yet still provide great experiences for people. So we are trying to focus on the positives. What I can tell you is going into the holiday weeks, which very much similar to the restaurant industry, these are huge business weeks for this community. They are the weeks when we have the highest occupancy and we have the highest rates. And we are hurting. You know, the reality is, as much as we have great conditions around us and we're going to provide great experiences, at our meeting on Tuesday, the hotel members within the lodging community shared that some of them are down as much as 50% from what they were expecting. And other types of lodging, homes and condos, are down as much as 30%. So there are some doing better than others, but generally speaking, to be down these kind of numbers at these significant times of the year, we don't want to sugarcoat at this point what a challenge we're facing as a community. Every restaurant, every retail outlet in this town is relying on people coming to this town to spend additional dollars to keep their businesses going. And you know, we have been battling the tide. It feels at times. The word on the street, I would say, just sharing, you know, the why we're facing these challenges. It didn't help that we had poor snow conditions at the beginning of the season. That's something that we can't control, but we always do our snow dance and we always pray diligently that we will get good early snow conditions. Thankfully, Steamboat has come through as it always does at this time of the year. I think our holiday guests are going to be happy, but it doesn't help the booking pace. The second piece of this that we're really aware of is just how much we're tied to the success of the restaurants. And when Steamboat moved into the red level, then when word went out that restaurants were not going to be open, we definitely started seeing calls and cancellations and hesitancy on the part of our guests to come here, knowing that the restaurant experience was not going to be the same. There's probably no better time to highlight just how important the restaurants are to their guest experience when people come here. And we are feeling that more than ever with the uncertainty over restaurants. So it is a ray of hope. You know, maybe it's a light at the end of the tunnel. This community is doing at the moment what this community does best, and pulling together, pulling out all the stops. The city, the county, the health department. I can't thank all of them enough for listening to what challenges the business community is facing. They have been a great ear for the lodging community over the last few months. So this communications effort, you know, that's part of how we're jumping through hoops and we're solving problems every day. The one thing on the positive side, you know, we're feeling some resistance to travel, but at the same time, for every reservation that cancels, I'd say the word on the street is, you know, for every reservation that cancels, 2 more rebook. So there is forward progress on demand. There are people that are changing their plans, and some of those people are just postponing their plans. So we still remain optimistic that we can make something out of this season. Just if I have a couple of minutes on the end here, I'll just share also on the SOS side of things. We continue to work on this campaign, and the support that we've also had from the community for this effort has been tremendous. And I think that, you know, there's no small, I don't want to hide that, you know, we started this campaign when things were looking really bad and our numbers are going in the right direction. Actually, I just wanted to share this image while I just finish out this update. Can I share my screen? Yep. So this is kind of our feeling right now. You know, we're not out of the woods, but we're going in the right direction. And our effort is through positive encouragement. There's enough
Robin,
messages out there. Yes.
We can't see your shared screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go.
If you could share it. There we go. Thank you.
You got it. One more button to click. Sorry. So yeah, we're not out of the woods yet, but we're going in the right direction. Our entire campaign is an educational message, providing positive and encouraging messages why we need to save the season. For some people, it is going to be a powder day that means the most, and maybe that is the reason why people will think about their social interactions in the community. We all know by now that wearing a mask and washing our hands is important, but more important than anything else is reducing our social contacts and getting people to understand that anyone who is within 6 feet of you for 15 minutes, it's still a message that we feel like we have to share over and over, but we're getting a great response from this community. We're getting a lot of great feedback. We're running a campaign right now, the 12 days of not ruining the ski season for Christmas. We have ongoing radio ads. We're partnering with local businesses like Alpine Bank, Casey's Pond, Billow, and many more in the works. We have print ads running in the pilot and in Valley Voice. We have ordered 4 times now stickers and window clings, and I think we're down to our last 10 window clings. So keep coming and getting those. They're available at the Moving Mountains office. We have pretty much as many stickers as you could take, and we'll order more window clings if we need them. We're getting the message out to the schools. So this is turning into a season-long campaign because COVID is not going away anytime soon. It's tremendously exciting to hear that the vaccine is here, but you know, we have to make it through the season, and we have to think about that every day. And it's fatiguing at this point, the pandemic message, but we're going to try and do it with as much fun and humor and connection as we can, understanding that most people understand the things that they need to do at this point. So that is pretty much all I have for you guys. I do appreciate everything that everyone is doing to try and get us through the season. As Cara said, it's teamwork, and that's kind of what this community does best.
Great. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate the detailed updates. And now I'm going to shift over to our AIR program presentation. We have Bob Milne, who is presenting in his role as the chair of the local marketing district. And we also have Janet Fisher here with us today, who is the AIR program director with the ski resort. So Bob and Janet, thank you guys for joining us and taking the time to give an update on this critical component to our winter success.
Of course, thanks, Kara. Nice to be here. Thanks for letting me join. I don't know, Janet, if you could share your screen. I know you've got some slides we were going to try to work through here. So yeah, before we get started real quick, as Kara said, my name is Bob Milne. I'm here today as the chairman of the local marketing district. My day job is I'm the COO of a company called Vacasa. We manage about 25,000 vacation rentals, primarily in the US, but across the globe. We have about 600 here in Steamboat. We've worked closely with Robin over the years and know Robin very well. And just a couple things observations that I'll make here. I did have a chance to test the product over last weekend, and hats off to Rob Perlman and all the team at the ski area. The experience was great. The way they've handled everything. I mean, it really was a seamless experience, and really think our guests are going to enjoy that. And then to just touch briefly on what Robin said from a lodging standpoint, I mean, the lodging communities have just been, the players have just been amazing. I mean, some of the challenges that we've had as lodging people with respect to PPE and the employees and the rest periods and the way that we've responded as a industry has been great. So I do think that the guests that are coming are going to be really impressed with what they see. And the lead-in is, so how are they going to get here? Well, they're going to get here, you know, through our airline program. So, I mean, Janet, if you can go to the next slide here. You know, it's really been, I mean, I look at this as, I don't know, Janet, if you can, there we go. I look at this as kind of a quick overview, and then I'll get into some of the details of this season. But it's been really, the airline program's just been remarkable, I think, in terms of an example of how you have different parts of the community come together and put together a successful program. It's hard to believe it's been 35 years that we've had this airline program going. And it's serving not just the guests, but it's become just a really integral part of all the residents of Routt County. The people that live here as well as the businesses rely on our airline program. We work with, the Steamboat Ski and Resort Corporation. We partner with them in terms of the funding. The Steamboat Ski and Resort Corporation negotiates the contracts. We work closely with Routt County, who owns and operates the airport. Kevin Booth and his team are amazing partners, and the work that goes on out there to make that airport just such a really showcase for the whole county is amazing. And then, of course, we work with the city, who appoints the LMD board, collects the lodging. Their finance team does a lot of the reporting for us, helps us with budgeting. And then, of course, Kara and her team are just a really big supporter and a big part of the success of this program. So it's one of those things where it's nice to see everything come together and actually work, and it's been getting better for 35 years. So quickly here, just I think some of the economic impacts of this. I mean, we haven't really done an update since 2015-16 in terms of the actual average spend per winter passenger. But, when we were doing our operating plan, we presented this to the city as well. I think that'll get updated. But, just back then, it was $1,345 per passenger. I mean, and so when you hear the restaurants and the lodging, I mean, the retail, I mean, everybody is impacted. And we really just need this airline program is so important to the economic and commercial viability of our town. It's just, it's amazing. So the arriving winter passengers in 2019, I mean, the importance of the flight, as you see, is it's 9.2 on a scale of 10. So what we see from our guests that arrive into Hayden is that they have a higher net promoter score of their overall experience in Steamboat. They typically have a higher household income, and they stay longer and they spend more. So again, this is part of the, the whole contributing factor of why this airline program is so important and has been successful. So what about 2021? So 14 nonstop airports. So I think sometimes when people say nonstop airports, and I'll get it on the next slide, it's really because we're looking at the airports because some of these airports are so close to each other. I mean, so you look at JFK and Newark and Dallas and Fort Worth, or DFW and Love Field, but there's 14 nonstop airports that are servicing, Hayden right now, Steamboat Springs and Routt County. And so 5 major airlines, which is nice. I mean, this program has grown. You've got Alaska, American, JetBlue, Southwest, brand new from Denver. Huge deal, huge impact for the community. Again, really shows the partnership that we have with the ski company. It was really good to see how they were able to get Southwest to fly in here. And then, of course, United, one of our tried and true partners, and where they come from. So really good program that we lined up this year, and we're all pretty happy with how it all shook out. The changes for this year, I mean, so total seat capacity, one of the things that we heard from when we were doing our operating plan, that we heard at the end of last year from not only the lodging community, but from local residents, from just about every group that talked to us, was that we need more seats. We need more seats. And so this year we were successful. The ski company was successful in negotiating with the airlines for a 30% increase in capacity. So that's a big deal. As I mentioned on Southwest, we've got 3 daily flights from Southwest on their 737, and then 1 Saturday and Sunday from Dallas as well. So really nice increase in capacity there. And American Airlines is moving upwards. So they're not just doing the RJs, they're actually moving into their main lines, which are bigger planes and bigger capacity. So that's nice to see as well. United, they added a flight from Denver, so they've got their A319. And then this year, I do think one thing that's important is that as an LMD, we are evaluating all these flights every single year. And then we're trying to negotiate and understand what's best for the community, how to best spend the tax dollars. And so this year, we decided that we would suspend the flights with Delta from Atlanta and Minneapolis. So we'll just have to see how that goes. So some of the highlights here from the local marketing district operating plan, I thought that would be interesting to share with everybody, because we do partner with the city. We do have to present a plan. And so this year, the 2021 winter cap was, when we say winter cap, that's the maximum amount that we would have to pay, was at $4.4 million. And I think the reason that I want to share that is that because that's also with capacity being up in terms of these flights 30%. The revenue share of that, the local marketing district, if we had to pay cap, would pay 2.9 million, and the Steamboat Ski and Resort Corporation would pay 1.4. It's the 2/3, 1/3 that we've negotiated with a ski company. I think this is in our 4th or 5th year of that type of agreement. Just to give reference, in last year, 1920, the cap was $6 million, and we actually only paid 2.1 million. So again, good management of the airline program. Janet Fisher and her team do an incredible job working with the airlines. And then if you even go back to 2018, 2019, our winter cap was at 7.3 million. So the fact that we've been able to negotiate more seats, less cap, I think is a win for everybody. So one of the things also, it's no longer a secret. 35 years we've been doing this. I think probably for the first maybe 25 or so, we were kind of the pioneers. And then you've seen that mountain airports increase capacity to the communities, and so they're popular. So now you've got mountain resorts that are currently with airline programs. You've got Aspen, Eagle, Gunnison, Durango, Jackson, Bozeman. And Montrose and Jackson and Bozeman also took a substantial increase in seats. So, the competition is out there. There's no question about it. The nice thing is, I think with Southwest coming in, they were able to, drive down some fares. So we have really competitive fares coming into this ski season. One of the questions that we get is, so how are if the airlines are blocking seats, is that going to impact due to COVID? Is that going to impact, how the minimum revenue guarantees work? And the one thing that I will say is that yes, we're aware of that, and American, United, and Southwest, they've all expired their capacity restrictions, and Alaska and JetBlue are scheduled to end January 6th. So I'm not sure how that'll impact things yet. We'll just have to take a little bit of a wait and see. So the winter flight program, the good news is, it's today. It starts today. So I know it was great. Kevin sent me a nice picture the other day of the new lighting and the airport signage, and it really looks great. So, our visitors that are going to be flying in today are going to get greeted to a really nice experience out at the Hayden Airport. Tomorrow again it picks up, and as you can see, like on Saturday, we're right into a really busy schedule. So it's nice to see. Steamboat's open, Hayden's open, we're open for business, and I think that's really a good message to have. Robin touched on it. Again, the elephant in the room, no question about it. Holiday demand is lower. Passengers booked over this holiday season are less than last holiday season. I will say this, though, the encouraging thing is, and I see it in our business, not only in Colorado, but across the country, is that we're seeing travelers much more last minute bookings. The airlines have become much more flexible in terms of their booking, their cancellation policies and their change policies. So we are seeing more bookings. Robin touched on it. Every cancellation, you see 2 people that want to come. So even though it's a little bit softer right now, I think there's a lot of us that are optimistic that could pick up because of some of the changes in policy that the airlines have made, and the lodging people as well. So that's encouraging. Kara, that concludes my presentation. I just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks to everyone on the call that's within the community that supports our airline program. It really is a big part of the commercial and economic success of this valley, and it couldn't be done without the support of all the people and organizations that I talked about in the very beginning. So thanks for your support, and thanks, Kara, for asking me to join. It's always good to see you.
Thanks, Bob. Always good to see you. We really appreciate you making time and also leading the LMD efforts. And Janet, thank you for all of your work as well to continue to create an amazing program. I haven't mentioned it yet. I know Cece did a little bit, but please, I really encourage you to ask questions. This is a great opportunity to ask all of our presenters any questions you have, and we'll get to them at the end. And next up, we have Jai Carroll with Go Alpine. This transportation has been such, along with other industries as well, but such a challenge to navigate with regulations and how in the heck we're going to move people around, our residents and our guests. And Jai, we really appreciate you making time and all of your efforts to do everything that you guys can to make it a great experience for our guests. Do you mind sharing an update with us on ground transportation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kara, and thanks everyone for being here today and for inviting me. It has been a very challenging year so far, but we are so excited to have flights arriving into the Hayden Airport today. I counted them. There's 9, which is great, and we're optimistic for this winter. So just a quick update for what we at Go Alpine are doing to keep everyone safe. We are still running 3 Denver shuttles a day, and we'll be continuing our Hayden Airport shuttle service. As always, safety has been our #1 priority, but this year it obviously comes with some new changes and challenges. So we will absolutely be enforcing the mask mandate. We have signs on all of our vehicles, in all of our locations, and we'll be making sure everyone is following those rules. We also have equipped all of our drivers with their own personal cleaning supplies, so they can spray down commonly touched surfaces inside the vehicles in between runs. And we've invested in 2 electrostatic sprayers, one that will be kept here at our Steamboat office, one at the Hayden Airport. They look really cool, and they do a great job of cleaning the vehicle really thoroughly, so that those will be done at the end of every shift. And if a driver has a fair amount of time at the airport, they'll be spraying down the vehicle in between runs. It is rather pungent, so if there's a quick turn, they won't be doing that just so we don't fumigate our guests, but as much as possible, we're cleaning and wiping things down. And we've even had to make some changes internally. We've changed processes so that drivers are in our office as little as possible. We're making cash out procedures, which used to be in person, are now completely remote, and they're doing them in their vehicles and then just dropping it off. So we're doing everything we can to keep our customers and our staff as safe as possible through these times. And then just a quick update on trends that we're seeing. The booking window has been shortening for us over the years. I've been with Alpine now for 9 years, and when I first started, it was maybe a week or 2 out people are booking, and now we're seeing bookings coming in 3 to 4 days out. So that is a trend that we've been noticing, but it's been increasing. And also this year, we've seen a substantial rise in the number of walk-up reservations that we're having at the Hayden Airport and at the Denver Airport. A lot of people don't realize how far away the airports are from town, or that they need to have a reservation. So if I have anyone on this call who is working with customers who are planning trips, I strongly urge you that you remind them that they pre-arrange their transportation, whatever that means, so that when they get to the airport, it's a smooth experience for them and we can best provide service. That has been one of our challenges for sure so far this year. And so we know that the only thing we can truly anticipate this year will be continuing to learn and changes, but we are remaining optimistic, and we're going to do our best to get through this season as best we can. Yeah, I thank you for everyone's time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Jai. I haven't seen any questions posted. Gary, can I put you on the spot to provide an update on city ground transportation, city buses, what level they're operating at right now? Well, we'll get that information and those updates out to the community if everybody hasn't already heard. But I know that there's a committee who's been working really hard to put into place short-term and long-term transportation solutions, but especially this winter with everything going on. I would like to take a moment to thank all of you for joining us. And oh, it looks like we have Jonathan Flint on. Jonathan, are you able to, you can provide an update. Hold on 1 second. There you are. Jonathan.
Good morning, Kara.
Perfect timing. Thank you for being here.
Sure, you bet. Let me tell you, right now we are operating our full winter schedule, started that on the 6th. We are running basically a very similar service to what we did last year. Our red line, which is service between downtown and the mountain, we do cut that back a little bit during the noon hours, but it's full when the mountain opens and closes. Our night service is not running as late as it has in the past. We're running up until about midnight. The big changes for us is that our capacity is limited to 15 customers on the local buses. On the regional buses, we're at 29 passengers. And then the other big thing that we're doing is we are also doing the electrostatic cleaning of the buses every day. Between loops, drivers are wiping down the high touch surfaces, and we're also boarding our customers through the rear doors. So doing those things to just increase the safety. Masks are required. We also ask that if anybody is showing signs or symptoms to please not use public transit so that we can make sure and keep it safe, because we have a lot of transit dependent people here in town, and so want to make sure it's safe for them. So that's just a real quick update.
Awesome. I so appreciate you jumping in and sharing that. Jonathan Flint is the Director of Transportation for the City of Steamboat Springs. And as with Jai and others in our community, have been working really hard to get people where they need to go as swiftly as possible and as safely as possible, as always. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you to all the presenters today for joining us. We really appreciate it. And just leave you with, I know that this is such a challenging time, and wish that, you know, starting a fresh new year momentarily, that it was all going to be a distant memory, but unfortunately that's not the case. But as some mentioned, we do have hope on the horizon, and there are so many people that are working to help get our community through this. Please, please, please reach out if there's anything that you need or others need as business or individual, and we will get you connected with the resources that are available. I do hope that everyone can find some time to enjoy the holidays in whatever crazy different fashion they are for you this year, but taking a moment to reflect on what an amazing place we live and what a fantastic group of community members we have who are so passionate about caring for one another. Thank you all. We'll talk to you guys soon.